Welcome back to another video. This is Careers with Nelly, and I'm happy to have you back again yet on another interesting conversation. In this video, guys, I'm still continuing with the series of how to answer some of the most commonly asked interview questions. And for this video, we are going to answer a very interesting question, a question that I find makes so many people fearful. And when you ask it in an interview, some people will get shocked. Some people get shocked, some people begin smiling. Generally, there's a way this question make candidates feel. So if you're in this channel for the first time, my name is Nelly, and on this channel I'm all about sharing with you content around job search strategies, career growth, and from time to time, I host different professionals to have meaningful workplace conversations. So today's video, guys, I'm going to help you, or rather I'm going to talk to you about how you can answer a very frequently asked interview question. I don't know if there's any interview that this question ever misses. I don't know if you've ever gone for any interview and you are not asked, what is your salary expectation? So that's the topic, or rather that's the question that I'm going to help you to answer in this video. So if you want to learn how to answer this question correctly and get it right in your next interview, then watch this video till the end. So most of the time when people are asked this question, people get shocked. This question, even if you've prepared yourself and you're really ready to ace an interview, you'll still find most candidates getting tense or terrified when they ask this question. And what will be the reason? One of the reasons people get fearful, or rather where people get shocked when they're asked this question, is because there's a fear that comes with this question. The first side of this fear is that you may fear that if you say very less, if you say something that is very low, you may miss out on the intended budget for the role. And I'm going to talk about that just in the course of this conversation, because I know some of you, maybe somebody is saying, but why don't a company just pay me what the job is budgeted for, even if I don't say the exact salary? A very interesting conversation. I'm going to talk a bit about that just as we go along with this conversation. Another thing that makes people fear is that you fear that if you say a very high salary, then you might just get yourself out of the budget. And I know you're still asking, then if a recruiter has a budget, why don't they just get back to me and tell me that this was the budget, even though you mentioned a higher salary? Are you willing to negotiate? So either way, we don't want to fall on the wrong side of the line. We don't want to fall on the lower side. We don't want to fall on the very higher side that may make us lose the job. So it is very important to understand how to answer this question correctly. And that is what I'm going to share with you guys in this video. So I will take you through why, in my own opinion, I believe that recruiters or potential employers ask this question in an interview. Some of the reasons why you're asked this question. I'm also just going to share with you some of the tips that you need to put in mind or you need to consider when answering this question. And I'll also share with you just how you can prepare well to be able to answer this question, putting all the factors in consideration. So on to the first concept that I want us to discuss is on why this question is asked in an interview. The main reason basically is just to know whether you're within their budget. Imagine that's the main reason every interviewer will ask this question, just to know if you're within the budget, because every job is budgeted for. So my approach for recruitment is always, I like to engage candidates on this question even first, even though I know this question is asked at different stages of an interview. But from my own experience, I really believe it is important to just ask this question as the onset, especially when doing a phone interview, maybe at the point that you're inviting candidates for an interview, or when you're reaching out to a potential candidate on platforms such as LinkedIn. And even from my personal experience, whenever a recruiter reaches out to me with an opportunity, my first question is always asking, what is the budget? Because really, I don't want to waste both your time and my time. So I usually don't like wasting candidates' time. Because what will be the need of having to go through an entire interview process with a candidate only to come and ask them that question the last minute, and you find that their expectation or even their current salary is way much above what you're offering? Honestly, you shall have wasted their time in maybe 2 or 3 rounds of an interview, and you shall have also wasted your time. So me, from where I sit, I believe it's good to have this conversation early. I remember the other day I was having a debate with one of my recruiter friends where they were telling me that they prefer asking this question after taking a candidate through an interview. From where I sit, I believe even if you can have it at the point that you're just making a call through a phone interview, just to call them, hi, I'm calling you from so and so, I'm a recruiter, I was interested, maybe I was reaching out to you because I have this opportunity, what is your salary expectation? Then you just get to get that at the start to avoid wasting both your time and their time. So yeah, the main reason this question is asked is basically to determine if you're within the budget range. Now, another reason that this question is trying to test is also to understand if you understand your value and also the value of your job in your current organization. Let me tell you how somebody can determine that by getting to know your salary expectation. You can maybe, for instance, in your current organization, I understand there's the bit of maybe your current organization could not be paying people well, but if you mention also very low salary, if you have very high experience, somebody may begin to question if all is well. There could be a missing link. If you're going for a job interview, you have 10 years of experience, and maybe you're still asking a salary of maybe 500 USD, that is around 50 or 60,000 Kenyan shillings. With over 10 years of experience, somebody will begin to question. So it really helps an interviewer or a recruiter tell your value, or the value that your job, the value of your job in the current organization. And it's quite important that a recruiter is able to tell, or rather a recruiter wants to tell at the onset, if this is a candidate who understands their value. So the next time you're selling yourself, saying that, maybe talking about your salary, you really need to understand how it is used, maybe to make decisions, or how it can work or work for you or work against you. So those are the major reasons really that this question will be asked, just to understand if you're within the budget trend, and also to understand your value. And maybe just another bonus tip, because I know I will speak about it later as we continue with this conversation, is also to understand, or rather to get to assess if you understand the market range of that job. Because also you'll find if you say a very high budget, then a recruiter will also be able to tell, oh, this person didn't even do their research. So I know there's a question maybe that is lingering in your mind. When I just started, I said that they need to know if you're within the budget, and maybe some of you will be asking, why then don't just a recruiter give me what the budget is? Because you find a very bad recruitment practice that when a candidate says a lower salary than the budget, then it will be to the advantage of the organization, because the organization will just be saving. But sometimes I really don't believe in saving, because what saving actually does is that it gives you a good resource for a very short time. If the salary was 300,000 Kenya shillings for the job, and you got a good candidate who said they want 200, you will be pleased to have saved the 100. But the moment that person gets to the organization, they'll actually get to learn that most of the people, or rather people within that job grade or within the same job, are paid that 300,000. What happens at the long run? They will begin being dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction comes in, demotivation comes in. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months into the job, they're already applying for the job. So it will be very hard to keep those people long enough. So I hope I answered your question. If you're wondering why should an employer just give me, so the good practice is just to hire with the intended budget. And if you get a good candidate who is above the budget, is just always try to negotiate with them. In an instance where a candidate can negotiate, well and good. If a candidate can not negotiate, it's usually okay to go to the next candidate, maybe within your budget, or even to re-advertise the job, go back to the market. Or it's even better if an organization is flexible enough to review the budget. So the next tip, rather the next part, is now on how then do you answer this question. Before we even get there, I am a big believer of practicing for job interviews. I am a big believer of practice for a job interview. So there's the post preparation where you need to ensure that you conduct your research to understand the market range. What are the pay range for this job in the market? So then you try to do this by comparing the different pays for different companies. There are platforms like Glassdoor that provide insights on salaries for different organizations. So you can take advantage of those platforms to be able to tell a salary range. So please, if you're going for an interview, for you to answer this question, ensure that you conduct your market research, understand what people with the same experience as you, with the same skills as you, in the same industry are being paid for that job. You can even decide, nowadays we are lucky to have platforms such as LinkedIn that you can just Google, or rather you can just go and put in the name of that organization. Then it will be able to give you every person who works there. You can try reaching out to people within the same organization just to get to understand maybe how the pays look like in that organization. So then what research helps you when you get to an interview? Research is quite important because it helps you to show that you're really knowledgeable and you know what you're talking about. So your answer doesn't come out like a guesswork. You really doesn't come out like you're guessing the salary that can make you tip off, like either by going too high or too low for the intended budget. Also, when answering this question, don't just stop at the salary part, the money part. While money is important, but there are other aspects of the benefits that I tell you will entice you only if you ask to know more. So just before you answer this question, sometimes if you're not sure, you can even just approach it this way by just asking them, apart from maybe the monetary compensation, what are some of the other compensations? So because you find people look for different things. There are people who could be looking for more money. There are people who could be looking for more benefits, maybe like a medical cover. If your current cover is lower, you could be looking for a higher medical cover, especially maybe somebody with a family. Maybe a medical cover would be a good benefit to consider. Somebody will even rather just say, let me take a lower salary as long as I have a good medical cover, a good pension percentage. If the pension percentage is higher, maybe access to other facilities at an affordable rate, and so on and so forth. So asking to know about other packages is important, and this one is even important on the bit of at the time of negotiation. Now that maybe you've been offered and you're trying to negotiate, don't just, I think that's a video for another day about negotiation. I don't want to talk about it in this video. Don't just focus on the monetary bit alone. Please always go a little, an extra mile, be a little intelligent, and just ask about the other packages if that is what you're looking for. Because as I've said, there are also people who could just be looking for the money. They don't even care about the pension. And the funny thing is that you'll maybe even find that most people don't even know about the pensions. As long as they've seen that part of the salary, the nature of the contract, whether it's permanent and pensionable, it's a fixed term contract, they don't read the other part of the contract. Story for another day. Also, when answering this question, you really need to indicate flexibility. And by flexibility, don't bring your answer in a way that it comes out to the recruiter or to the interviewer that it is the final. You ask, okay, so how much you'll be looking for? I'm looking for $400. Okay, a good thing. But make it to appear that it is flexible. You could say that I'm looking for $400, but I'm open to negotiation. So then that leaves the recruiter with a room to negotiate, especially in an instance where the budget was low. So don't make it sound like maybe it's a final answer. Rather, allow room for negotiation. So if you're having to allow room for negotiation, if from the deepest part of your heart you want $400,000 or you want $400, whatever amount that you want, then you can make it a bit higher, maybe even by, let's say, if you really say, me, I'm not taking a salary that is less than $400, then you need to make it higher. Let's say maybe I'm looking for $450, but I'm really flexible, or I'm looking for $4,000, but I'm really flexible. So that even if they negotiate, if you're looking for that amount, if they negotiate, they even reduce it by another 50, then you're still good, or you're still going to get what you really want, or they're still going to offer you what is within your desired range. And also another thing, if you're sure, me, I'm not, like what I just said, me, I'm not taking any salary that is lower than 100,000 Kenya shillings, just go straight and say it. Just say I'm looking for 100,000 Kenya shillings. And at that point now, just try, or rather just justify. Of course, this is based on my experience, exposure. I've been in this job for this period of time. Therefore, I believe that I have the right skills, or from my skills and experience, I believe that I'll be able to directly deliver value. I'm not a person who's coming in to be trained. I'll be a plug and play that I'll just get and begin to, I'll just get into an organization and will be able to deliver without going through much learning. So if you're able to justify it and you just say a straightforward salary, is still perfectly okay. So guys, I also just want us to discuss a bit, or rather just want to share with you a bit on some of the importance of asking this question, because I think there have been a lot of controversial conversations around it. Why do you ask for somebody what they're looking for? Why do you ask previous pay slips? Why do you ask previous salaries? I know candidates don't like it, but as I mentioned when I was starting, from my own opinion, I believe this question is important. It really just saves time. That is it. It really just helps me not to waste a candidate's time, and also a candidate not to waste my time as a recruiter. So just going straight forward, and if you tell me a salary that I know for sure, this one the company will not be able to pay, this one is way off our budget, even if you're a good candidate, then just end it at that point. And of course, just maybe as a recruiter, just keep that candidate in your database, maybe for future opportunities. So the main reason for asking, or the importance of asking this question again also, is just also to help us save time. So just before I share with you some of the examples of how you can answer this question, I think I just want to do, let me just do a small recap on some of the tips that you need to consider again, just to ensure that you conduct an extensive research on the pay range. You have a conversation with people who are in the similar role in at the same company or a similar industry, and you just have to look beyond the monetary bit and consider other aspects of compensation. So let me give you a few samples of how you can answer this question using maybe just the tips that I've shared. If you want to say a specific figure, if you want to give a range, or if you want to delay answering, actually just by maybe throwing it back to the panelist, which I really don't recommend sometimes, because I also find people, or rather I find candidates doing that if you're asked this question, you throw it back by asking them, what is your budget? The reason from me why I don't really recommend this is because if I ask you like, what is your expected salary, then you ask me, what is my budget? You know me, from where I sit, I always believe, or even if I set up to look out for a job, I have a salary in mind that I'm looking for. You know, if my current salary is this and this, I know now in my next job, for sure, I'm not looking for anything lower than this. So me, I always believe that as a job seeker, you have a salary in mind. And that tactic of having to throw, I think I won't even recommend it, of throwing it back to the panel, asking them. I find most people use it, but from where I said I don't recommend it, I just recommend you are the one, you're the one now in the seat of selling yourself. I mean, sell yourself. Say what you want, say what you believe you're worth, and let now the negotiation begin. That's the whole essence. We have a conversation called negotiation, where two parties are trying to come up with a win-win situation. That's why they'll tell you, oh, you're asking for this, but this is what you're offering, but besides this, we're also having this package, we're also offering this, we're also offering this. So then you say, yeah, then that's a good thing for me. So that's why negotiation comes in. So me, I wouldn't really recommend that you throw it back to the panel. I would just recommend that you answer it using the tips that we've shared, either by sharing a range, sharing a specific question, and sharing a specific number, and of course, just also the only thing you can ask them, of course, is just some of the other package, because also that package can help you to be to really know if even if you pick this amount, then the other packages will also be an advantage to you. So when I'm answering this question, this is what I would say. Let's say I'm looking for 4,000 USD. I like putting the figures in USD because I know my audience are across different parts of the world. And of course, that will translate to around 400,000 Kenyan shillings, depending on the dollar rate, or even 430 or so. So the reason I'm looking for that is because I have experience of over 10 years. I have over 10 years of experience. And when I looked at the JD, it is really aligned to my experience. So I believe I will be a great value add to your organization. I'm not a person who's coming in to learn the new system, as the current systems that you're using are things I have used before. I've used the different systems that you have in my previous jobs. So the learning curve for me is really short. If is really short, or is completely at 0%. I also believe I'm well experienced. You can mention maybe a software, you can mention a specific skill. So generally it's just to try to sell, or rather just to try to align your skills, your experience, the value that you'll bring to the amount that you're looking for, as a way of justifying that. So yes, so guys, that's all I could say. And as always, thank you for watching this video. I would like you to just share in the comment section some of the topics you'll want me to discuss. If you have anything that you, or any person that you'll want me to bring to this show, please just suggest their names on the comment section. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you've not subscribed to this channel, this is a good time just to click the subscribe button, put on the notification bell, so that you get notified every time I put a new video. That brings us to the end of today's video. I'm happy that you watched this video till the end. Till next time, thank you for watching.